My name is Robotixa, and I am going to report of the victory of Yorktown. In 1781 the British generals were confused and in disagreement over their next move. France's entry into the war had complicated matters for them. After a series of victories over the British Navy, the French had won command of America's Atlantic coast. The British saw France's presence there as a challenge to their control of the sea. Cornwallis, though, was unprepared for the confrontation that would soon occur. On August 29, 1781, the commander of the French fleet, Admiral François de Grasse, anchored 29 warships in Chesapeake Bay. His fleet blocked the entrance and prevented Cornwallis from getting supplies. The blockade also kept Cornwallis from escaping by sea. At the same time, Washington's army and 7,000 French troops led by General Jean de Rochambeau hurried from New York to Virginia. By September 14 they had reached the peninsula. Meanwhile, additional forces led by Anthony Wayne and the Marquis de Lafayette converged on Yorktown. The armies and the French Navy trapped Cornwallis. Every route of escape, by land and by sea, had been blocked. British forces tried to rescue Cornwallis's army but could not penetrate the French. Following the Patriots' hit-and-run attacks in the south, General Cornwallis led his 7,500 troops north to Yorktown, Virginia. Yorktown was in a peninsula formed by the James River and Chesapeake Bay. Cornwallis thought this would be an excellent location. From here, he could receive supplies from British ships. In addition, he thought the site provided a safe haven for his army and American lines. On October 17, 1781, Cornwallis wrote to General Washington, requesting a ceasefire. 2 days later the British officially surrendered, then directed the British troops to stack their weapons and return to Yorktown. As the 7,000 British soldiers turned over their weapons to the Americans, the British band played a sad tune titled, "Th. World Turned Upside Down." The British were dismayed. The Americans were jubilant. Washington's ragtag army had beat and King George's mighty forces. Although the war was not quite over, a major battle had been won, and the Americans knew victory was theirs. On October 19, British and American troops met outside of Yorktown, along the river. The drums grew quiet as the two sides faced each other. General Washington waited to accept General Cornwallis's sword in the gesture of surrender. Cornwallis, however, was not there. Instead, he had named General Charles O'Hara to act in his place. Learning of the substitution, Washington selected General Benjamin Lincoln to represent the Americans. This was a generous tribute to Lincoln, whose troops had been defeated in the Battle of Charleston. Lincoln accepted O'Hara's sword and, when news of the surrender reached London, British Prime Minister Lord North exclaimed, "It is all over." Parliament voted North out of office. Next, the two sides had to sit down and negotiate a peace agreement. Last of the British troops left New York. General Washington, at the head of his troops, rode triumphantly into the city. The nation owed a great debt to Washington. His unwavering dedication, discipline, and superior judgment helped to win the American Revolution. In December of 1783, Washington addressed his troops in a final farewell at Fraunces Tavern in New York City. Colonel Benjamin Talmadge recorded Washington's words, "With a heart full of love and gratitude, I now take